We can groove, we can jive, the groove jive. We got that groove, we got that jive, we got that groove, we got that jive, the groove jive.
Alright, what's going on? This is Jersey Son. We're here on the GriiveJive and we're on episode 2. Today's topic is on hip hop and fashion.
That's such a loaded question, but I love it. When I think of hip hop, I think of a lifestyle, a vibe. We were talking about this, like a vibe. It embraces everything in my life that I'm attracted to, but genuinely attracted to. Like, I'm biracial, so my mom's Italian and my dad is Black. And growing up, like, that is what I always was attracted to. I shared a room with my brother. My brother is 12 years older than me. So I shared a room with my brother, and growing up, that's all I was around, like with him and he was a teenager and I'm like this little girl sharing a room with him, and I'm reading like all the Source magazines and I'm listening to the music I probably shouldn't be listening to, and I'm learning about things that I probably might not need to learn about at that age, but I was intrigued by it. And so growing up, it was just something that I was always naturally drawn to, is that culture, and I always embraced it, and it's just been a way for me to express myself. Like you were just talking about that before we started filming, about how you're from the East Coast, you're from Jersey, I'm originally from New York, so like that culture and that vibe there, that's where it really started, I feel like. And then it kind of got exposed and then people started picking up on it. But when you go there and you're embedded in that culture and the freestyle raps and the Tims and just that whole vibe, it's just something that I've always been attracted to. So for me, for me, what it means to me is who I am. It's something that I can resonate with.
Definitely, and just piggybacking off of that, like, I didn't necessarily grow up like that, but for me, being able to see us portray ourselves without having to conform to what society thinks is like the standard of how you should talk, how you should act, how you should dress, how you should just basically how you should be. I think hip hop gives us a way to be able to express, like, yeah, I like to wear my clothes a little baggy. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily say the R's on the end of my words and things like that. So, like, you're able to be raw. You're able to express these things and give a different viewpoint than what society was giving us. And to me, I feel like that's very, I don't know, very beneficial to us to be able to like portray a different, way of living for Black people, I guess.
I think, MTV Raps, as a 90s kid, you couldn't go a day without like checking out Fat Five Freddy and just like getting inspired by the gold chains and the snapbacks back then and all that. But yeah, I mean, fashion and hip hop kind of go hand in hand, so like you can't really, be out here as a rapper looking bummy. It doesn't make sense. So, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I think definitely seeing the artists wear like their pieces or whatever, you see it and then it makes you be like, well, if you're a person like me, it makes you be like, damn, that's fresh. I wonder how I can put like my own spin on it, because like you don't ever want to go out and like be rocking the same thing as somebody else, because
that's true.
Can't have two.
And I actually agree with you guys. When I think of early hip hop and how like Run DMC had the big jewelry, and they had the Adidas and had my Adidas, and how that led towards a sneaker endorsement, right? All that to me is like, people watch the culture, and big businesses watch the culture, and they're trying to target a particular demographic. So with that being said, what do you think about artists getting sneaker endorsements or clothing endorsements, or even like having all the decked out jewelry? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's I would agree. I think the people do watch the culture, the people move the culture. I think the businesses latch on to the culture. They don't necessarily watch it.
Now, hold on, take it one step deeper. Give me some more. Take it one step deeper, man.
I mean, it's the businesses, they're all about money, right? They're trying to sell a product, and I think hip hop has been the conduit to the culture. You know what I mean? Hip hop moves the kids and moves the consumers. So when brands see that, they're gonna obviously give us, you know, the bag in order to reach out to the kids and like move the culture. I think we still are undervalued by a lot of brands as a hip hop culture. So I think, you know, things like what Jay-Z is doing, the title, and you know, the big, what's it called, the festival that he has, Made in America Festival, you know, and all the brands he's pulled in with that. Chance is doing his independent movement and how brands are pretty much supporting his career. I think, you know, hip hop artists definitely should continue leveraging their cultural influence in order to get more money from these brands, because we are the culture.
I agree.
I think it's great, man. I think it's great that an artist can, you know, drop a song or an album and say, like Travis Scott, for example, Nike boys hopping out cool. Now, you know, man's got a sneaker deal for life, just like with the My Adidas and Run DMC. Or you have people that go spend so much money with brands, like who was it, Offset, has a lifetime discount with Gucci.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they love giving stuff to artists that have these platforms because it increases their business. You know, it's just like pure business model for these corporate brands.
I love what you just said. You mentioned corporate brands, you mentioned Gucci, you also mentioned how, you know, these corporations latch on, right? And for me, when I think about that, I think about how, you know, in early hip hop, you had cats like Dapper Dan, who understood that there was a demographic of people who could not afford high-end brands, or who high fashion, right, kind of shunned them away. And you know, now Gucci's finally giving the recognition and saying, yo man, like, you gotta come through and make a line. What he's done is for 30, 40 kids, right? And so,
think about throughout history, right? If you go back to like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you had your Little Richards and your Chuck Berry. They were like, if they were moving their hips too fast on stage, you weren't allowed, they would kind of shut your concert down, right? Then you move forward to the 80s, then you got Uncle Luke coming out here. Like, they really had to come out parental advisory under curves because they didn't want black people to impact the culture, right? So if you go to the 50s and 60s, you got the civil rights movement. But you couldn't have them impact the culture. The 80s, he wasn't ready for it yet, right? Then even to the 90s, okay, now it's really starting to get in there. Tommy Hilfiger comes out like, yo, I rock with y'all, but I don't really want y'all wearing my clothes because it's not there yet, right?
All good points. That's a great analogy.
Now you can't deny it. Yeah, because now we here, right? Now we got like president. Now we moving forward. Like now you have Diddy. You have us owning teams. So now we're so part of it. You can't deny the culture because we're now. Not to say obviously there's still systemic issues that are kind of not leveled the playing field, but now it's moving in the culture for us. So we've been able to break down those economic barriers, even as just general trickle-down theory. So now we're up there to like, you have to embrace us, right? So you have to, if you're Louis, you're Gucci, you have to acknowledge us, because if not, you're denying the whole culture segment and the buying power that we have.
And it's even spreading over into tech and other industries. You see Google has made a huge initiative with Howard University hiring and like pretty much giving jobs to black tech students coming out of Howard. Like, that's crazy.
I think something that's interesting to expand on that, and in this day and age where, and maybe this is a little bit because of the 444 album, but like coming out and just like securing a bag instead of securing equity in these companies is something that I feel like that's the next move, that's the next wave. Ownership, actually, like don't just cut me a bag. I think it's great that this is like a way in, but I also feel like these artists have so much social capital that if they wanted to get investors, they do it.
Even though he's from the 90s, he's still relevant. You gotta get Pharrell in there. Like,
Ooh,
Pharrell.
he's a vampire! He's a fashion vampire, what do you mean?
He's timeless with it. Yeah, I think his style is super fresh.
So we're gonna have to do 4. Because Pharrell is just like...
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one. You got 2 more.
Got 2 more. I'll say Pharrell. Man, I don't know. I think Future style is definitely really dope.
You know what? I can't disagree with you. I remember like 3 years ago, had everybody walking around like Kangaroo Jack characters.
Fedora, yeah. Okay, lie, I had the Fedora too. Yeah. And then, what else, man? I'm blanking right now. I don't know, I'm gonna go with another OG and say Andre 3000.
Ooh, oh my God. Ooh, a little bird. The sweater. Ooh,
All sauce, no drip. What about you, man?
I would have to say ASAP.
Okay.
She's the,
Yeah, ASAP.
yeah, so I would have to say like ASAP. I think Young Thug, man. He has a pretty good attire. And then yeah, Pharrell is always fresh.
Pharrell's the OG. Like, you can't say fashion and hip hop without saying Pharrell.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have to put Russell Westbrook in that conversation. You know, what he does, like, he doesn't care. And I think that the boldness that comes from that, like, there's a little boy in, you know, Philadelphia right now that looks at Russell and says, man, you know what? He's walking in there bold. He doesn't care what they think. And, like, I'm going to be as bold as he is. And, like, he may not be the one that changes the world, but I guarantee he'll empower the one that will, right? So I think there's power into being an individual, especially when it comes to fashion.
I feel like Tiana Taylor got like not just a bad body, but just like anything she wear, whether it's sporty, whether it's sexy, whether it's casual as fuck, like she just like embodies everything.
She really
everything
does.
she wears, yo, I'm just like, nope, take it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I really, really like Cardi. I love her. What I like about her is not even like the music. It's not even the music, or it's just how genuine she is. She's a genuine person. She's never switched up. She's always been the same person, and that's why people are attracted to her. Not because of like the music she's putting out, not because of what she's wearing. It's who she is. Who she is. She'll go on live and have no makeup on, and like just be on live and just be herself. And then you'll see her, and she'll be on a red carpet like all bougie, and you're like she can go anywhere and just be herself, and people accept her for who she is. So that's what I like about her. But then I also really like Kehlani. I really do. Like,
right? Like,
can I take two though?
No.
All right, I'm gonna keep her in the back pocket. No, I just like her because I like her vibe too. Like, I like the way she dresses. I like what she represents. Like when she went on tour, her tickets were cheap. It was like $25. I love her music. But she gave back every city that she went to. She went and fed the homeless, or she went and partnered with an organization and gave back to every city that she went to. And she's all about like positive energy, putting light out there. So I like what she puts out.
So I'm gonna go with somebody that's like totally off the wall here. But my person that dresses like my favorite is Autumn from Sir and Madam. She's local here in Chicago. And just every time you see her, her outfits are like so crazy and out there, but they look so good together. I'm like, the first time I met her, I'm like, this girl's wearing paper clips for earrings.
I love the creativity.
And then the next time, I'm like, this girl's wearing safety pins for earrings. And then I'm like, where are you getting this stuff from? She's like, oh, Sir Madam. And I'm like, what the hell is that? But yeah, what's her, somebody has her Instagram. One of you, Autumn?
Yeah.
Soho Autumn?
What is Autumn? Yeah, I can film this too. Like, Autumn.
What is her Instagram? Fine, I'll look it up myself.
Yeah. She's Sir Madam. And they're in Hyde Park.
Yes, but she just dresses amazing, and like I kind of see Autumn's fashion as like what everybody's gonna be trending to. Like now that we're kind of phasing out of this Yeezy phase, just wait.
Okay.
I really like SZA. Like, I love the back.
Y'all listen, hold on. Y'all listen cold. I'm here still. I'm like, okay. Taking that note.
Honestly, she made me go out recently and buy the baggy. Well, I had some baggy jeans, dressed up jeans, but I went and bought the Tommy Hilfigers to go underneath that, so the little band will show. And the Tommy Hilfiger sports bra. She made me go out and buy that. I'm like, she bringing me back to the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, like I just love her style. I love her because she just. Man, she's been through so much. You know, she took the hiatus for a long time. She went through the heartbreak. You know, her style just encompasses who she is, and I just love that about her.
So, one thing that, you know, really brought me joy is that as you guys were listing out, you know, artists, and you guys were talking about fashion, I'm like, you guys give me some gems. Tiana Taylor, SZA, Cardi, you just mentioned Autumn. And a lot of times, you know, especially as men, when we think about fashion, you guys mentioned this earlier, we're so like gender dominant towards like what the male fashion leader is doing, X, Y, and Z. And this for me is a key learning moment. because you guys are naming people who are literally becoming trendsetters in their own right. And with a different variety of fashions. It's kind of like taking me back to the 90s era with Salt and Pepper. How they had the whole, Salt and Pepper, Queen Latifah, and they had the koofies, and they had the different swags that, as a woman, you can be like, hey, if I want to wear my koofy, I got my koofy. If I want to do this, I got my this. For me, I feel like y'all hurt my feelings, y'all ain't messaging no name. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just.
I be feeling it.
Her style is just impeccable, and so with all that being said, the fact that
or Alicia Keys. I'm surprised she didn't say Alicia.
Well, I'm gonna just throw it out there. Of course, Fashion Nova.
Okay.
Definitely.
So Fashion Nova.
Yeah.
I like Fashion Nova. I love Rihanna's makeup line. Like, I love everything that she's doing. She just came out with a lingerie line. But with her makeup line, like you said, there's all shades. It includes everybody. And her stuff it's like, it just makes you feel exclusive.
What about you?
I'm expensive. I'm really expensive.
Keep it 100. Fashion is what you make it.
Fashion is what you make it, but I don't like things that scream designer. You'll never catch me in a Givenchy shirt that says Givenchy.
Yeah.
You'll catch me in red bottoms that have a red bottom.
Boss up there. Boss up there.
I don't like the typical now you see every girl on the street. She looks like the Easy campaign. Be yourself. Be different. I don't know. I like everything though.
Okay.
Same. I like everything. My favorite store here in Chicago is Akira because I can go in there and find an outfit like this and the next day go in and find a dress that I need to wear to something coming up.
Okay.
I'm not a real big designer person. I like to support, local businesses as well. So I wear local people's clothes. Like there's not one. You'll never see me wearing just one brand. You'll see me wearing a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing you guys correctly, you guys are kind of like you're your own person. You pick your own style.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it influences us. It's starting to influence it more. There's more women out there. Like Rihanna's doing amazing things, and she has a dope style. And Cardi too. Like she makes you want to listen to her music, and you feel like a bad bitch. Like you feel like you want to go beat somebody's ass, and you want to go turn up, or you want to go kick it with your guy. But I feel like those women are just starting to make those marks now. And before it used to be like. It was more male dominated, and it was more so like the little Kims. Like you have little Kim out here, and everyone's thinking she a thot or she a hoe, and it's like no, she really might not be, but that's her image. That's what she's portraying. That's how the music that she likes, and that's how she's putting herself out there. And now I feel like with Cardi B and some other people paving the way a little bit more, you're open to it more. It's more talked about, and women can more embrace who they are and what they're trying to do. So I think we're on that cusp where we're getting there. But I think we need more women. That's why I'm happy I'm on this couch for all these women, because I think we need more women that do it.
Yeah, definitely. Because before, you wouldn't, as far as fashion goes, before you didn't necessarily see it too much with women and things like that. But now, as artists like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj too, making different waves and things like that from what Lil Kim has done. So it is detrimental. It is important, and I feel like as far as us women, I feel like we're not portrayed that great sometimes when it comes to the fashion choices and things like that. But I feel like it's progressive. I feel like as we talk more about it, it's going to turn into something that's even bigger. Because I just see it now with as some of the models that are coming up now with Winnie and Ducky and things like that. You weren't seeing that before. You just had Tyra. That was it.
Yeah.
So now as fashion is getting, as hip hop, I feel like is getting more mainstream, and of course fashion is just gonna latch on to that. So of course I feel like as women, we keep talking about it. It's gonna continue to grow with us.
I think moving forward, what needs to be done is, I think I'm gonna put it on the guys. I think the guys need to help us. Like, I think we can't do it on our own. So I think the guys need to talk more about women's fashion and talk more about what they're into or what their girls are wearing, or pump their girls up and get them some swag so they can be out here like the women that they look up to. So I think it's a collective, like, and I think the women need to support each other more too. I think everyone needs to support each other more, from women supporting each other to the men pushing us up and supporting us.
Yeah, because especially just like when it comes to like the whole fashion thing, because like men have just a one-track mind when it comes to what sexy is, when it comes to what beautiful is, and it's portrayed in the music, it's portrayed in the song. Whatever. And so like when our female artists come out, that's just what they're trying to portray, because that's just what's been said lyrically. So I hear like a couple of artists, they are coming out a little bit more, praising their queens, talking about like, you know, being okay with being who you are. You don't necessarily have to get all of these injections and things like that. So I just feel like as the men try to gear praising and uplifting us, I feel like the fashion will just naturally just go with it.
I think to bridge the gap between fashion and hip hop for women, I think there needs to be kind of like a middle ground, because for men, you guys have all these brands where they're like, you have your top of the line, you have your Balenciaga, Givenchy, all that, where it's expensive, and then you have your middle where it's like affordable and it still looks nice and it's great quality. But for women, we don't have that. We have Balenciaga, we have Givenchy, all that, but then like, where is our middle? And there's Fashion Nova, which I mean, you can get an outfit off there for like $20 or $30, but where's the middle ground for women? Like, where is like our $200, $300 price range?
That's real.
Exactly. Like, what shoes are we gonna wear for that price? You guys can go get Jordans, you guys can go get all that stuff, but like,
it's not Jordan's fault.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, I'm saying, but you guys have all these like very like,
you guys got options
that create all these lines, but women, we don't have that. It's either top of the line or not.
That's where we need to boss up and embrace each other. Yeah. We can't put it all on. We can't depend on the man to do what we want to do. We have to boss up and embrace our culture. I mean, and stop the mean girl stuff. I mean, there's so many women in the industry, and there's so many opportunities for it to boom the way it should, and no one's embracing each other. Everyone's just like, I mean, look at what happened at Fashion Week with Nicki and Cardi. They're throwing shoes at each other when they could be teaming up and bringing a line. You know, like we have to stop with the commotion and just embrace each other, embrace the hip hop culture, because people are looking from the outside in, like, look at this mishmash when we could be billion-dollar brands. You know what I'm saying?
Speak life. And I think I love how you wrapped it up with, you know, the concept, you know, aspect of bossing up and, you know, teamwork and connectivity. I think in order to become a great community, in order to achieve great projects, you have to have those fluid connections, right? Where you know, you can collaborate with someone else, you can collaborate back and forth, but you guys are sharing ideas, you guys are open. Man, there's money to be made out here. That's facts. But there's so many creative, you know, outlets as well, that if you guys are all working together and connected, you know, the sky's the limit.
Or within these big brands, within fashion as a whole, as it becomes more diverse, as it starts to look more like us, it's just going to continue to get better, right?
Facts.
You know, I think that brands are starting to understand that they need us in the room so they can fully understand and have dialogue about us, right? I think for a long time you had brands where people were literally around the table talking about black people with no black people in the room.
Dang!
And you know when that's happening.
You missed the boat. You just missed, right? And I think that we can all say, and I don't know 100%, but I guarantee that there was black people in the room when that Colin Kaepernick decision was made by Nike.
I was gonna bring that one up too.
There was somebody in the room that like spoke to the fact like of how important that was. And Nike will forever be like a step ahead of these niggas. Like that's real.
Everyone else
because of the way in which they go about it, and because I think that they pay a they understand like the beginning of it, man, that Nike wouldn't be Nike without Bo Jackson. Nike wouldn't be so like to not have us in the room is not an option. And I just think that as more brands start to have us in the room, it's gonna be better across the board.
I really feel like I agree with Evan's earlier statement about like not asking for permission, like not asking to be included. Something powerful that Rihanna just did, she turned down the Super Bowl halftime show and she used her autonomy to speak up for like civil rights, and it's realizing that like, you know, that each of us have an individual power. You know what I'm saying? It's like being a part of a brand doesn't validate our individuality. So it's like, don't even add, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's the whole conversation about like the Oscars were so white 2 years ago, and all of like these conversations about like Black artists and Black actors not being nominated enough for these prestigious awards, and they're not winning because the people who are voting don't really look like us. And it's I think it's the next step is us saying like, forget that entire system, and I think the world is starting to realize that, and that's why so many of these brands are fighting for dear life to be a part of Blackness, to be a part of Black women.
Man, you are just
like you're starting to see this like every company like back to Google, like they're hiring all these Black women to run things, and it just makes you think, and you just hope like they actually mean it, you know, and it's just not a trending hashtag, like that they mean this. And on top of that, to take it a step further, is for us to understand that like we don't really 100% need them to be validated.
Honestly though, I think to piggyback off of the Super Bowl thing, it's a shift of power. And like when we say nah, we don't need you for our validation, that's a power struggle right there that big companies are losing. It's that acknowledgement of one's own agency that's going to drive anybody forward, point blank period. When you reclaim your time, when you reclaim your power, when you let everybody else know what time it is, there's just this like unfuckwittableness that people are attracted to. And like, it's similar to piggyback also off of the Nike move. That was huge. And not only was that the right thing to do, that was the lucrative thing to do. I was having a conversation with somebody recently, and they talked about, it was an older gentleman, and he said something about how in private equity investments, like need to have our Jackie Robinson moment. And I heard it, and I was not for it just because I think that's the wrong mindset. I think what these companies that are predominantly ran by white folks need to do is have their Black Panther moment where you give brothers a chance, you invest some more coin, you get over $1 billion out. Like it's not a like giving brothers and sisters a chance isn't revolutionary, it's lucrative. And if you don't get that by now, then what are you doing? You feel me? Like if you don't get that right now, then what are you doing?
I've been on task force.
Damn.
I've been on task force, you know, to really push projects forward from an inclusion and diversity perspective. And one thing, when you really just sit down and you look at sheer numbers, right? Like we're talking about dollars moves the industry. Like having inclusive and diverse teams, they always perform better. When they perform better, they make more money, right? And like that's like, fashion needs us, right? The fashion needs hip hop. Like it's not that like hip hop needs fashion. In that same light, like as we move forward, us understanding that like we are the culture, everybody wants and needs the culture. So like let's go out and like let's be exactly what they need. Like let's go create what for the masses, you know, and like let's do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? And like they'll come. Because it's not like hip hop isn't just Black. Like hip hop is worldwide.
Yeah.
Speaking on that, I mean, like, you know, when we talk about culture, and you know, I think of Migos and how I remember when Migos first came out, and I'm from Atlanta, so you know, that's an Atlanta sound that they have.
They're the LeBrons of Atlanta.
I'm like, they're all right. You know, it's good, like strip club music and whatnot. But you know, just the simple fact that they've been able to have as much success as they had, and you know, worldwide they're selling out arenas, and people see that movement, and these brands, these big companies, they see that and they want to be a part of something special. And it's really opened up the window. If you look at music, you know, in the past, you know, I don't know, 10 years, how it's moved differently, you know, on a different wave. And how we dress, you know, like last night we went to the Timberland event. I haven't seen that many dudes wear purses in my life. But what I'm saying is, it's like a cultural, I mean, it's a movement, like, you know, and I mean, it's cool to see like the creativeness. Like 15 years ago, they'd have been looking at you like, bro, like, why do you have on a purse? Now it's like, you know, this is Louis.
I think it's just becoming more cultural even now, especially with my thing within our community, right? We have this disconnect in terms of light skin versus dark skin, in terms of like real talk in terms of like if it doesn't, like quote unquote, it's not black enough, right? So to his point, it's no matter in terms of, oh, why do you have a purse? It's like, no, this is what I want to wear, right? So it doesn't matter what you want, what it is. It's a purse, you can call it a satchel, whatever you want.
Crossbody bag. I have about 3 in my closet, right? You know.
But it's really about what he wants to wear.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to even in terms of connecting hip hop and fashion, even just what I was saying earlier, when I was like going back and actually embracing people who are actually moving the culture forward and not just waiting for it to be served to us in the manner in which general society, and even you could say white people, for like, just to be frank, are pushing it to us. Like, obviously you got to shout out Burger for Louis Vuitton, but people forget before that, Maxwell Osborne was when Donna Karen stepped out for DKNY, Maxwell Albert and Sally Don, she became the creative director for DKNY, which is an iconic brand from public school, right? People don't know that, right? Because he's not Virgil Abloh, you don't got Kanye connect. But Maxwell, that was 2 years ago. That was before Virgil got in. But to be frank, I'll shoot. If Maxwell doesn't get DKNY, Virgil doesn't get Louis Vuitton. Right? That doesn't happen.
Dang, yeah.
So with that, you see an iconic brand like DKNY willing to take the ground, you believe in this guy that from public school came from streetwear. So if he can do this, Virgil can do this as well. Like, I got a background on my phone, which is 3 women. And for me, it's my icons. Rihanna, Naomi Campbell, and most people know who those 2 are, but the 3rd person is Iman, and nobody knows who Iman is, right? And Iman was a big time model in the 80s. She was Mrs. David Bowie, right? Like, she was the first, before Naomi Campbell. People don't even know who she is, and she's still out here right now killing it. But that's on us, right? Because that's not, people ain't talk about Iman. You don't see Iman out here trying to be like, no, not gonna ever being in the videos and trying to be part of it. She just chills. But we should still embrace who she is.
She was on the Michael Jackson video.
Right, exactly. Yeah, remember the time.
Hey, Jive.
Exactly. In terms of like embracing who she is, right? Those kind of things is what, as a culture, we don't even do, right?
And to your point, you know, I think overall, you guys have all made extremely amazing points towards hip hop and fashion. And I think a couple of things just stand out, right? You know, how does our fashion not only influence us, but how does it impact our communities? And how do we use that impact to give back to our communities, right? You guys have labeled multiple different references of how these industries and these big corporations are going out to our communities and vulturing, but not pouring dollars back. You know, and how, you know, on our end, we're not doing a good enough job to really embrace people who are pioneers, who are silently laying the groundwork, right? And a lot of times people forget about the quiet people in the room, and they only focus on the loud people without realizing that the people who are quiet are actually people who can see everything and lay down the footwork. You know, with that being said, I am truly grateful to have you guys here today and to kind of get your variety of perspectives on, you know, not only hip hop but fashion as a whole, but actually how we can use those 2, you know, venues to really help and impact our communities as a whole. Because, you know, without the culture, without the communities, without people being disenfranchised, without people, you know, facing adversity, hip hop wouldn't even have started in the first place. You know, the fact that you guys understand that at its core is beautiful. So with that being said, I'm Jersey Son. This is Hip Hop and Fashion.